Hey people, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video we're going to be making a simple wrap crop top, and I'm super excited about this video because I'm finally going to be making use of my patch fabric. So in this video, as you can already see, these are the tools I'm going to be making use of. So let's go into the video. But deep down I know I might never meet up, but I will keep on trying. If you're making use of patch fabric, you know that definitely you will need to have lining pieces because patch fabrics at the back are always very rough. So the first thing I went ahead to do in the making of this top was to fold this fabric into two, using my bust measurement as the template for the bigger part of it. So the next thing I went ahead to do was to measure out the length of my top, and because it's a crop top and for me I didn't want it to be too short, I decided to take my measurement at 17 inches. So I marked out 17 inches, and this part of it is just enough for my bust, so I went ahead to cut it out. You deserve more than I can ever give. You deserve. I know say you get toasters, many in a bed. So guys, this right here is going to be the back of my top. So next thing I'm going to do now is to measure the neck part. So I came down from the shoulder part by 2 inches and went in by 2.5 inches because I'm actually a very slim person and I don't want the neck to be too wide. So after taking this measurement, I went ahead to measure out my shoulder measurement. Because my material is folded into two, I divided my shoulder by 2 and that gave me 7. Then I went down my shoulder depth, and to get that you have to divide your bust measurement by 6 and then add 1.5 to it. So mine was 8 and I just made a half a rectangle, as you can see, and the next thing I did was to make a curve. So guys, after making this curve, I just measured the armhole depth, and the next thing I did was to get like half of the armhole, and I went into the dress, into the top by about half an inch, and I took that as the new armhole. After that guys, I went over down to the underarm, and I measured out my bust measurement. So my bust is somewhere around here, and what I went ahead to do was to shift my tape, adding an extra 2 inches as sewing allowance, and I went down to the waist as well and added 2 inches to what my waist measurement is, and I marked it as well. Then I'm going to just join my lines together now with my ruler. After this guys, I'm just going to make a shoulder slope, so I went down on the armhole part by about 1 inch and I just marked it to meet the neck point. So basically the back part of this is done. I'm just going to trim out along the white marks that I made. So guys, this is done. This is the back part of my top. This is actually the easiest part, and after getting this, getting the front is very easy. So guys, I went ahead to cut out another piece. This is the front part, is folded into two as well, and what I did was to place my back pattern that I already did on it. But the difference between this front and the back is that the front is going to be wrapped, so I added extra 5 inches to the front of this fabric. So the front is 5 inches wider than what the back is. Actually the inches you add depends on how busty you are. For me, I don't have, my bust is just 33, so this is just going to be enough. So what I did was to just trim out the armhole, the shoulder and the sides, and then I would now work on the front part, which is the little bit technical part of it. So this is the back. As you can see, I folded the back into a V kind of, and I'm just going to pin it down, as you can see right here. I'm just going to use the back to get the front. This is how I always do my wrap tops, and I have never had any issue with it, and I think it's actually a very easy way. It's really easy. So from the neck part, that's the end of the neck, I'm just going to make a straight line to meet the end of the front pattern, as you can see, just to meet the end of the points here. So it kind of looks like a triangle, what I have at the end of the day. So I am going to cut out along this white line that I made. So what you cut out is more like a triangle, and what is left is kind of like a triangle as well. So I'm just going to trim it out now, and that's basically it, guys. The front and the back patterns are ready. So this is the front. This is how it looks, and if you put it together as a wrap, so this is how it looks. And here is the back. So basically this is all for the back and the front. The next thing I went ahead to do was to cut out my sleeve, because this sleeve is going to be a pleated one. I made it a little bit exaggerated, bigger than what my actual sleeve would have been. So instead of making a curve down here, because I'm going to actually have a pleat as well, I just went straight down. I didn't make any curve on the on the sleeve. So as you can see, it's just straight. The only curve on my sleeve is on the shoulder. Normally I would have done this, but no, we're not going to do it because of the gathers I'm going to make. So all I have to do now is to cut this out, and that will be it for the sleeves as well. So guys, just like in the top I'm trying to recreate, the arm had a band under. So what I'm going to do now is to get my band, and the measurement around my arm is 10 inches. So that divided by 2 is 5. Because the fabric is folded into 2, as you can see, I decided to cut this out with 6, so I have an extra 1 inch as my stitching allowance. The next thing I went ahead to do was just to trace out all my pieces on the lining piece. So after cutting out all the lining pieces, I just put the right sides facing each other, and I went over to the sewing machine to stitch all the pieces together. So guys, this is it. This is the back piece stitched with the lining, and these are the 2 front pieces. So now the next thing we're going to do is to attach the front and the back pieces together to join them up at the shoulder. So as you can see, what I'm going to do is to put this together like this, and I'm going to use the lining of one to cover it up, so that by the time I stitch it down, it looks very neat. So I'm going to do it for the both parts. It's all done, guys, and this is how neat it looks. Very clean. So the next thing we're going to do now, I'm going to leave this aside, and I'm going to work on the sleeves. Remember that the sleeve is going to have a band. So what I'm going to do is to go over to my sewing machine and make gathers on the sleeve. So this is what it looks like. I wish I could show this part of it, but where my sewing machine is very dark, so I can't take my camera over to that place. So these are the sleeves, and this is the actual bodies. So now what I'm going to do next is to attach my sleeves to the dress itself. Remember that the sleeve, I made the armhole part a little bit bigger than what it's supposed to be, so I'm just going to pleat it a little bit up here to fit perfectly, and I will do it for the both parts. It's all done, everything is stitched down and neat. I also went ahead to stitch down the sides, and basically what we have left now is to just hem the bottom of the top, and then I'm going to create ropes for the front. So guys, this is it. I've stitched down the ends of the fabric of the top, and these are the ropes I created. I made my ropes very long because I want to be able to wrap it around my waist and bring it back to the front. Like I want it to go to the back and then come back to the front. So that's all basically for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you find this helpful. If you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn off the bell notification as well so you get notified of my future videos. I will definitely see you guys in the next one, and please, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the video. Till I see you in the next one. Bye bye, guys.